another person tells me to think positive, I'm gonna punch them in the throat, right? Because that's the last thing you want to hear when you're drowning.
Right.
When you're drowning, literally think about it. You're in a pool, you're in the deep end, you're drowning. Do you want to hear somebody say, okay, now move your arms and kick your legs? Don't you really want to hear that, girl? When you're drowning, you're like, no, throw me the freaking life preserver. Throw me, right? But what happens is we're on the outside of the pool. We have friends. We jump in there with them. We want to help them. And then now we're both drowning.
Right. Thank you, Joanna. Thank you so much for being here on the show. How are you doing today?
Thank you for having me. I am excited and I am great. Let's jump right in.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I want people to get to know you a little bit. So could you please give them a little intro, a little background of where you're at, what you do today, and what you're up to?
I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, California, and I am a proud college dropout. I was never meant to go to college, but yet I went because I was mimicking everybody around me in high school and left. I've been a dancer my entire life. I wanted to be the next J-Lo when I was 18 years old. Seriously, no joke. I said, I'm going to be the next Jennifer Lopez. This was before she was J-Lo. Discovered that I hated Hollywood, hated that side of dance. And I started teaching dance. And that led to opening my own dance studio. And I've always wanted to be a business owner ever since I was a young girl. But yet tried to be like everybody else and discovered that I'm very, very different. I'm a unicorn, and really moving into that even more so, you know, my more mature years, and really stepping into that, because back in the 90s, it wasn't cool the way it is now. You know, there was no hashtag girl boss and it's real sexy. It wasn't like that back then. And so that's who I am. I had a dance studio. I've sold that business. I've created a 5K and 10K run, big events. That's one of my superpowers. I'm really good at that. And I opened up a fitness studio for 8 years, just closed that due to a few things and the pandemic. And then now I'm all online and I am so much happier, girl. And that's who I am.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. I love that you share that story. I love that you said you're proud college dropout because you found your success in the non-traditional way. And I think it's important for people to see this. And I think we are seeing it, we're seeing it more because we're getting away from that stigma.
I think the biggest thing is whatever works for you.
Exactly.
Right. And I knew that wasn't going to work for me at 16, 17, yet I chose it. Why? Because that's what this reality told me I was supposed to do and all my friends were doing. And I knew that wasn't for me yet. So I think that's the biggest thing. Choose what works for you. And, so I'm so choosing that now. But anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I love the confidence that you have. I know that we all have our insecurities, and as you know, and we all have them no matter what. But
absolutely,
you have this confidence that is just so infectious. And I see it with like the people who have come to you for, you know, any fitness instruction, for dance, for everything that you do. You touched on going against the grain and your family. So can you talk a little bit about that? Because I'm pretty sure there are so many people right now who are really trying to break away from that, what they're told to do, and they might not have that confidence. And maybe by hearing your story, they can gain that confidence and break off and do what they want to do.
Great question. One of the biggest things is that is one of my superpowers. So I thank God I was blessed with that. Right now, what I'm saying also is that just because maybe it's not in your nature, you can develop it, just like muscle. So let's say you're not a muscular person, but you can work out in the gym to create that muscle. So that's also not an excuse. But so I like to think of myself as an energetic invitation of confidence for others. And so even though I make it look a little bit easier, it is still work for me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so with that being said, with that already having that gift, I always knew, Dali, that there was something in me that I was searching for happiness. I knew that there was something more in this world. And I just did that at 17, when I think people now are doing that at 30, right? And they're finding it later. And now being able, like you said, to step out and do things differently. One of the big things that helps me with confidence is knowing and asking myself, if this was my last moment right before I die, am I happy? Would I really want to choose this? And when I'm like, no, I'm choosing for others, then I make a different choice. I'm pretty much 99.9% of the time choosing as if this was my last moment. I never would like my last moment to feel like I didn't do enough. And I think that's why we're afraid of death, Dolly. I really
Yeah.
think most of us are afraid because we want more time. And I'm like, I never want to have that feeling of afraid of death because I didn't do enough. It's like you're trying to take a test. And have you ever taken a test and you're studying the last minute? You're like, and rather than people say, either you know it or you don't.
Right.
If you think you're going to get, one more question by the last 5 minutes of studying, like you either know it or you don't. That's how I feel with life. Either I'm confident or I'm not, rather than I'm waiting to the last minute and then I'm trying to speed up because I didn't do enough. So that's one thing that helps me with confidence. The next thing, Dolly, is I know that these things are not mine. I'm going to say that one more time. When you have insecurities, when you're choosing for others, when you're feeling doubt, things of that nature, they're not yours. We're not born like that. We're born with infinite awareness. We're born with an inner being that is happy and joyful. That's why babies are so happy. They're not born with all this stuff. So as soon as I feel like the fear, the whatever, I'm like, this is not mine. And I ask myself, whose is this? Oh, it was my mom's when I was 5 years old. Oh, it was my teacher last year. She told me she was afraid, whatever it was. And you buy people's opinions, you buy people's insecurities, you buy people's thoughts and feelings. And I tell myself, I have thoughts and feelings, and I am not my thoughts and feelings. I'm going to say that one more time. I have thoughts and feelings, and yet I am not my thoughts and feelings. And what I know what happens is we take them on as ours, and then we're afraid. We don't want to move forward because what is my mom going to say? What is this person going to say? They're going to say whatever they say regardless. I don't care what you do. People are always going to judge you. They are always, 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 always going to judge you. If you do left or you do right, or you do up or you do down. So you might as well choose what you're going to do because they're going to judge you anyway. So that's where I've built my muscle, so to speak, so that I can choose differently moving forward.
One of the things that I love that you help people undo all of that unlearning is through your 30-day challenges. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, one of the things that I've noticed is that we want the end result, right? Everybody says that. We all want the Instagram lifestyle. We want the end. I totally get. And when I read the book Atomic Habits, everybody, one of the best books in my opinion by James Clear, and he talks about, creating these like cement habits, just like brushing our teeth is a habit. I think most of us, right? That's a habit as soon as you wake up. But it's not a habit for kids. You have to teach that to kids. And it takes many, many years to teach that to kids, right? Yes. You're shaking your head. You're going, yes. I remember being a young girl and my mom had to ask me a million times. And I would say maybe I was 9 or 10 years old until I really started brushing my teeth on my own without her telling me. That's 9, 10 years of habit creating, right? And we think we're going to create these habits overnight. And then so we get frustrated. We don't look like J-Lo overnight. So we're like, F it, I give up, boom. Well, of course it's not going to happen overnight. But we believe, like I said, it's not ours. We believe that things are going to come to us quickly. And we're impatient. And so what I realized is like, okay, in order to really make change, Joanna, at least 30 days. And that's scary. Oh my God, a 30-day challenge? Oh God, right? You're like, I could do 7 days. I could do 3 days, but 30 days. And you'll notice that people start to fall off. And the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So I start the 30 days. We'll have so many people, first 3 days, then it starts to fall off. Then you have the same people that go all the way through the finish line. And I made this choice, Dali, that I was like, I'm going to do this for me. I'm like, I wonder what it would create for me if I did 30 days of different things every month. And I'm going to show up for me. I'm going to go live on Instagram and I'm going to be the invitation for people. And if they want to join me, cool, let's do this. And I did that for my birthday in November. It changed my freaking life. I did a meditation challenge. Every day I went live, meditated, right? And all the little crazy comes in my head, right, hun? Because I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to sit there with my eyes closed in front of people as they go live. This like, I'm like, this is nuts, Joanna, just do it. So I did that. And then it led to another month. It led to another month. So now I'm going to go a whole year, hun, every month, something different for 30 days. And I wonder if it's changed my life, how can it change others? And really cementing something in for 30 days.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so I realized that you were doing these 30-day challenges because I saw on Instagram and it was the meditation one. And I remember because we're in a time difference. I'm 3 hours ahead usually. So I did your meditation one. It was so, so good. And it was a little later for me, but it was still early enough for the rest of my day to be affected by that,
Wow.
the meditations. The other thing too is that I noticed that when you're doing it, when you, Joanna, are saying it live and I'm listening, it's for some reason it is more effective for me. So I thank you for that. And it's almost like virtually I'm feeding off of your synergy. It was
Ooh,
so
yes.
it was so good. So I would try to join it. I know I didn't do all 30 days because I think I joined towards the end. And then you started the book. So I went and got the book,
Yeah.
and then I actually didn't read it. I have it now, but the my challenge was the time difference and scheduling stuff. So I'm definitely going to be joining your 30-day lives because I realized just with that one would, and I still joined it, although I wasn't reading. So if I had a day where
Yeah.
I could pop in, I would do it. But I saw what you were doing and I saw the reaction of people, and I thought if you can do that with adult women, imagine the power of a teen joining in and joining.
Ooh,
And I really
yeah.
like that you're very, very honest. You don't sugarcoat anything. And that's what we need. It's like tough love when we need it. And you break it down, like you have so many phrases that you say. And I think that you say them so organically, you don't even realize. And everybody's like, yes, yes, thank you.
Oh, thank you for that.
Yeah, it just comes out. We can see it, you know?
I appreciate that. You know what there's the book, The Big Leap. I don't know if you've ever read it or
I
heard of
have
it.
that one. That's on my
Oh,
list.
oh, girl, that one is like life freaking changing. I'm like, there's 5 books, right? And I'm like, those two, Atomic Habits and The Big Leap. And he talks about your zone of genius. Like, what are you so good at? What comes easy to do? What do people look at you and go, wow? And you're like, oh, it's so easy. And so I challenge or I invite you all to know and discover what your zone of genius is and 10x that baby. You're like, I'm really good at video. I'm really good at writing. I'm really good at being a mom. Whatever that may be, 10x it, girl. And boom, everything gets better, or boy, or whomever out there. And so what I discovered is like, I'm really good at talking to people and getting them to get hard things understood. You
Yeah,
get what I'm saying?
I
Where other people are like, I'm lost. I don't get it. I don't get it. And then I say it and they're like, oh, I get it now, you know?
yes.
And so I could break down complicated things where you're feeling uh, like ostracized or you're frustrated. You're like, screw this, think positive. And then if another person tells me to think positive, I'm going to punch them in the throat, right? Because that's the last thing you want to hear when you're drowning. When
Right.
you're drowning, literally think about it. You're in a pool, you're in the deep end, you're drowning. Do you want to hear somebody say, okay, now move your arms and kick your legs? Don't you really want to hear that, girl? When you're drowning, you're like, no, throw me the freaking life preserver. Throw me, right? But what happens is we're on the outside of the pool. We have friends. We jump in there with them. We want to help them. And then now we're both drowning.
Mhm.
So what I do is like I have an ability to throw them a raft and go, come in. I'm going to stay up here with my margarita. I'm going to bring you in, but I'm still up here with my margarita. And when you're ready, you can chill up here with the margarita with me when you're ready. But I'm not going to tell you to think positive as you're drowning. And so my awareness, Dali, is that what we're doing right now in this reality is not working. It's
Mhm.
not working as much. You know, people are getting frustrated with like the I don't get it and this is stupid. And we're hitting an upper limit. Like in The Big Leap, he talks about you hit an upper limit and you're going, okay, what's next? Anybody out there listening going, okay, what's next? I've
Mhm.
been doing this, I'm listening to the podcast, and I'm still frustrated, right? That's what I want to tap into, those people that are ready for the next.
Yeah. And what's amazing is that you're doing this for free. People just come onto your Instagram, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they just they sign up, you send the alerts too if they sign up
Yeah.
to your newsletter, which
Yeah.
is very helpful, of course. But you're on there and you're very punctual. You get in there and you do the
Yeah.
work. Just you wow me every time I hear you, because you break down things so simple. Like, for example, like I have a lot of guilt sometimes, and I have to remind myself to not feel so guilty about not having done X, Y, and Z, or why I'm still like 40, 50 pounds overweight, or why I'm still like not, doing a certain habit that I should have acquired. By what you just said about
Yeah.
the brushing the teeth, you're absolutely right. If it took you 9, 10 years to learn how to brush your teeth on your own without having somebody to remind you, that just gave me a little permission to forgive myself for certain habits that I haven't acquired. So I thank you for that. And
Yes.
hopefully some people will do the same thing, because I think that because we don't forgive ourselves is also why we don't fully give ourselves, I guess, the opportunity to adopt a new habit, if that makes any sense. It's kind of like unconscious sabotage, right?
Yeah. Like we can't stack on top because I don't have this one down. So how can I have this one?
Yes.
Yeah. And grace for that, like having grace. And I'm going to ask the question, whose is that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, whose is that? That guilt. Again, remember I talked about
Yes.
that we have them, but they're not ours. Like, whose is that? Where'd you buy that from? Without any judgment.
Mhm.
Because we want to also judge it that we bought it. Oh, that's my dad. Screw him or whatever. Oh, that's that person's. Like, oh, that's interesting. And everybody on this planet, we've been taught, and we want to think it's one person. It's like a million people that we bought the guilt from. How many people have guilt out there? A lot. So how are we taking on these thoughts and feelings? Because energy, Dolly, is the first language we speak. Everybody, the first language everybody speaks is energy. You have two babies, right? They
Yes.
spoke energy until they started to talk, till they're about 1 year old. Then they started to talk, but you spoke energy to them. So we all speak energy with dogs, with cats, with animals. We speak energy. They don't have words. So with the same thing, we're picking up this energy from other people. So that's why I'm asking, like, whose is that? The guilt. But we want to like make it ours. We want to forgive it. We want to this. And then it makes it harder. And what if it was actually simple of going, oh, whose is that? Okay, I'm going to return it. Because Dolly, I think about it like this, hun. Let's say I buy this bag, and if you can't see me, I'm holding up a bag. And let's say I bought it on Amazon and I don't like it. It's the wrong color, it's the wrong size. What do most of us do? We're going to return it. But what happens is we buy all this stuff that we don't want, and then we end up keeping it. And now we're hoarders.
Mm.
We're hoarders of these thoughts that are not ours, but we bought them. It's a jacket. We put them on. We put that jacket on, and we put that bag on, and we put these earrings on, and we put this. Return that, girl. Return it. It's not yours. Take it back to Amazon. So that's how I think thoughts, just like Amazon. Return it. It was Prime. It's all good, and make it fun. Like, this ain't mine.
Ooh,
Hey, I'm returning that. No,
that's a
thank
mic
you.
drop right there. Oh my gosh. The way you give these examples is just amazing. You're so absolutely right. How we do the right thing for certain things, and then for sometimes the most important things, we don't, like returning those bad habits or those bad beliefs. Wow. You blow me away.
You're welcome. Yeah. We don't want to be a hoarder of these thoughts and beliefs and the guilt.
Wow. So do you have, okay, what's your next challenge? So you've done meditation, the book. What's the next one?
I'm excited. My February challenge is journaling.
Oh, I love.
I'm excited. And it's going to be 8 a.m. Pacific. So I'm going a little bit later. I'm going to try it. So it might be lunch or, later for some people. So it might be in the day. Again, let me know what time you like. And my challenge to me, Dolly, is to not go longer than 10 minutes. Because I used to get so into it and I'd go longer. And I'm like, no, out of respect for everybody, no longer than 10 minutes. And we're going to journal every morning. And notice if you're thinking, well, this is not a good time. Whatever you would like to create in your life, you'll make time for. You'll
Oh, I
create.
love that.
You know
Yes.
what I mean? Right? Even if it's at lunch, journal 10 minutes, girl. Journal on the toilet, journal wherever.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
if you
If you can scroll through Instagram on the toilet, you can journal.
girl, you could journal on the toilet, right? And if you have kids, Perfect. Bring them in and go, hey, we're going to journal with Joanna live, and have them journal, like do this with your family. I'm always encouraging, like, do this with your family, do this with your family. It's a live meditation. Do this with your family. Cause if you're like, oh, I have kids, bring them in, so I have some friends that are like, my son meditates with you in the morning. I'm like, that is so cute. So that's February.
That's awesome. So then you're going to give us the prompts, and then we're going to go ahead and journal with you at the same time. So it's going to be 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern time.
Correct.
Perfect.
And I will give you a prompt every day of what we're going to journal on, just one thing. And there's something magical about when your hand writes instead of you typing, something happens there, and it really opens up and it changes the frequency of your brain.
Awesome. I love that. And where can people go to sign up for this journaling challenge?
You can text me the word challenge to 323-524-9847. Or you can go to my Instagram at Joanna Vargas Official. The phone number is right there. You can just click text me challenge, DM me anything, send a tweet, like an old school bird, whatever, a messenger, and I will get it to you.
Oh, I love speaking with you. You are so funny and so full of wisdom, so full of aha moments every time I've spoken with you, or every time I hear you speak. I love that. So thank you so much. Thank you for being on the Dali Talk show. And you'll have to come back later and let us know what the next challenge will be in March.
I'll be back. Love you all. Thank you.
Thanks. Well, there you have it. Joanna Vargas, isn't she amazing? Don't forget to join her challenge. Check her out on Instagram. And if you have any questions, DM her. She's so cool. She will be responding to you directly. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe. Click that little bell so you get alerted every time I publish a new video. And don't forget to join my newsletter at dalitalks.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.